Hello. I love Super Nintendo. I eat, sleep and live everything SNES. Now, recently this has started to take a bit of a toll on me. So if you don't mind, I'm just gonna sit back, relax and have a bit of a break with a fantastic, refreshing, lemon and lime, carbonated, flavoured drink. Phooey! Exxon. Sprite. Sprite? Who put this in my changing room? Danny, was it you? Can't get the stuff. Well, this is what really angers me about the world. The fact that, you just can't get a half-decent lemon and lime carbonated drink anymore. Sprite? I remember when the world was a decent place, when you could get proper lemon and lime carbonated drinks. Now this means there's only one review that the Super Nintendo Fanboy can do next. And it's time to transport you to the world of 7-Up. Cool Spot on the Super Nintendo is a shameless advertising ploy. Not only does this game advertise 7-Up, but it flaunts it around like a 20-year-old Polish supermodel girlfriend. You play the role of Cool Spot, the mascot of the 7-Up brand, as he attempts to rescue his captured, not-so-cool Spot friends from cages. Why? No idea. Everything about this game screams 7-Up and advertising, from the collectible spots with white V's on them to the bonus levels that take place inside a giant 7-Up bottle. The game really, really makes you want a glass of 7-Up. Okay, so this game is shameless. However, if you can ignore the blatant advertising ploy, then actually it's a half-decent platformer game. The game never takes itself too seriously, and so not only allows itself to be a lot of fun, but also to be very cool. The visuals are impressive to say the least. The backdrops are gorgeous, and never before has a red Spot looked so cool. Spot can run, jump and dive, as well as attack enemies with, surprise surprise, 7-Up bubbles. The game is simple, but it is in this simplicity in which it really shines. You need to collect a certain number of spots to be able to then release a not-so-cool Spot from his cage. Rather than a simple left to right side-scrolling though, the cage is located in different places each time, so that each level is more of a maze than of a traditional platformer. Often half the difficulty with the game is actually finding enough spots to collect, whilst the other half is more concerned with locating the cage. For a start, there are only 8 levels. Now, while some of the earlier levels are very impressive, by the time you get onto the later levels, you do realise that the game gets very repetitive. Collect spots, open a cage. Collect spots, open a cage, and so on, and so on, and so on. What's more, is that the later levels closely resemble the earlier levels in appearance. A slightly different colour scheme is used, but other than that, it is like playing the game through twice. And playing the game through twice is not something that really appeals to me. It's fun, but it's not that fun. The ending of the game is disappointing to say the least. The game explains that because you didn't complete it on hard as well as getting all the hidden letters to spell the word virgin, I know, virgin, you don't get to see the proper ending. During my entire playthrough of this game, I only ever found one letter. I cannot see myself playing the game on hard setting anytime soon. Not because it's a bad game, it's actually quite enjoyable. But for a game that only has 8 levels, it feels like it drags on so much, and before you're halfway through, you start feeling that 8 levels is just too many. Cool Spot on the Super Nintendo is an enjoyable game. if you can put aside the blatant advertising, which is a lot easier now than it was in 1994, then actually you will find underneath a really enjoyable experience. It's not amazing, but it's good. It's certainly not the kind of game that you want to try and get as far as you can on, and don't strive to see the later levels because you will be disappointed. However, if you find yourself with maybe an hour and you want a bit of a pick up and play game, then Cool Spot on the Super Nintendo is a pretty good choice. The first couple of levels are the ones that you will enjoy the most, so don't bother trying to get any further. Now, I'm not saying that it's definitely one you should own, but if you've got it and you haven't played it yet, then give it a go. It's definitely not something to be embarrassed about owning, but similarly, it's not something you need to search out in desperation to add it to your collection. Now, because of this, and the fact that it's definitely not a must-have game, which falls into the 85% category, or even a should-have game, which I consider anything over 75%, then obviously it's not going to score as highly as this, but it's still a lot of fun, and like I say, if you own it, don't be embarrassed. 65%. Whilst completing Cool Spot didn't add to my life in any way, and won't be making it onto my CV, there is one definite thing about this game, and that is that it is a very, very cool game. Sure, the advertising is shameless, but then what advertising isn't nowadays? The only thing you have to remember is not to let it warp your perception into buying things that you don't really need. Because, let's be honest, only idiots do that, don't they? I mean, it's just complete and utter stupidity. Oh, God, that's good. Anyway, see you next time.